Welcome to this module titled Assessing On-Farm Produce Safety Risks, GAP Manual Preparation. This module is part of a 7-part series to assist you in creating a food safety program and preparing you for a GAP audit. These videos are based off of a series of 7 fact sheets available through Virginia Cooperative Extension. Today we will be discussing the final step of developing a food safety program, preparing it for a GAP audit by preparing your GAP manual. The first step to assemble your manual is to find the appropriate checklist for the type of audit you need. As we've mentioned previously, you should discuss with your buyers what type of GAP audit they require. Due to the marketplace moving toward more stringent food safety requirements, we'll be focusing on USDA Harmonized GAP and Harmonized GAP Plus certifications for the remainder of this presentation. You should find the appropriate audit checklist on the USDA website. The audit checklist outlines the requirements that must be met to pass that particular audit. Within the audit checklist are scopes or sections that focus on a different aspect of your farm. For Harmonized GAP and Harmonized GAP Plus, the general question scope is required for every audit and includes questions related to demographics, food safety managerial designations, worker health and hygiene, and traceability. Depending on your operation and post-harvest activities, you will complete one or both field operations and harvesting scope and post-harvest scopes. If you intend to use the official USDA GAP and GIP logo on packing and promotional materials, then you will need to complete the logo use scope as well. There are some basic components to any GAP manual. You will find the table of contents, checklist questions, standard operating procedures or standards, risk assessments, records and logs, and supporting documents, all typically organized using a 3-ring binder. Virginia Cooperative Extension has developed manual templates that can be edited to your farm and practices. For ease of use, we've designed our HGAP and HGAP Plus manuals so that each of these scopes are separated by notebook dividers. The standards, risk assessments, records and logs, and supporting documents should be inserted in order directly behind the associated checklist subsection or question. We encourage you to work closely with VCE so that we may assist you. The first item in each scope is the table of contents. The table of contents is a handy tool that will help you compile necessary documents and assemble your manual. There should be a separate table of contents for each scope in your audit. Immediately following the table of contents, you will find the checklist questions for that scope. The scopes are divided into subsections, as you see here, with the example of F-3. Within each subsection, questions follow numerically. For example, F-3.1, F-3.2, F-3.3, etc. The Harmonized GAP and Harmonized GAP Plus checklists denote when documents, records, policies, written plans, or assessments are required to satisfy a specific question. You will see 2 columns with the headers Doc and Man. The Doc column tells you if certain documentation is required to satisfy that particular question. You may see a WP, R, or A in this column. If WP is present, a written policy, procedure, and/or a plan is required. If you see an R, a record is required. An A means a risk assessment is required. In the mandatory column, a dot in this column indicates a requirement that is mandatory and must either be assessed as compliant or not applicable to meet USDA acceptance criteria. The Harmonized GAP and Harmonized GAP Plus audits require assessments in the G, F, and P scopes or sections. The assessments are an excellent way to focus in on specific areas that are highlighted in the checklist. Examples include food defense, water systems, soil amendments, animal activity, etc., and are used to better develop policies, procedures, and corrective actions. If an assessment is required, you will see an A in the doc column of the checklist questions. In the Virginia Cooperative Extension Harmonized GAP and Harmonized GAP Plus manual templates, standard operating procedures are shortened to be called standards. Standards detail the concern or relevance of the issue. Policies, procedures, or step-by-step descriptions of how to perform specific operations or activities, as well as corrective actions, associated records and supporting documents, and any helpful additional resources. On our Virginia Cooperative Extension developed templates, we used red font color to point out prompts or wording that may need to be revised to match your operation, questions you may need to answer, or words that may need to be omitted. If a standard is required, you will see a WP in the doc column of the checklist questions. Records provide evidence of activities performed or results obtained. An example of a record would include water test results or a log sheet documenting the cleaning of restroom facilities. Log sheets and appropriate records help you to prove you do what you say you'll do. If a record is required to satisfy a question, you will see an R in the doc column of the checklist table beside that question. Supporting documents are used to help validate a response to a checklist question, such as farm assessment notes, traceability system field maps, flow of food maps, pesticide logbooks, pesticide labels, training certificates, and any other supporting documentation related to specific practices. A tip for containing loose supporting documents is to insert them into a plastic sleeve and place them directly behind the corresponding question. Other supporting documents, like pesticide records, should be kept in a location where they are readily available. Now that you have a framework for the different components of the manual, you can work methodically through the sections you need to assemble the manual. Start with the G section. As you move into the field operations and handling and post-harvest handling sections, use any of the relevant risk assessments from the fact sheet series to make sure you address all food safety risks on your operation. Answer each of the checklist questions, assemble the required components into the manual, and begin documenting and collecting records as you implement your plan. In order to keep your audit on schedule, think about your timeline and when things need to get accomplished. Follow a schedule and allow yourself plenty of time during the off-season to devote to your gap preparation. Implement the plan you put in your manual and conduct any on-the-ground changes that are needed. Complete records, follow all procedures at necessary intervals, and document any corrective actions. While having a well-completed plan of action is great, it is the follow-through that makes your food safety plan successful in mitigating risks. Always do what you say you will do, and not what you wish you would do. A pre-audit walkthrough with your extension agent is a great way to make sure that everything is in place before your audit. There is no one right way to assemble the GAP manual, as long as all of the necessary components are included. The VCE manual templates were designed to make the audit as smooth as possible. Plan to work on preparing your manual early, before the growing season starts, so you have time to work on it and implement all of the practices. Utilize your Virginia Cooperative Extension agent to help you throughout the audit preparation process. We are here to help and can provide you with many resources to help increase the safety of your produce. A strong food safety program will not only improve the safety of our food supply, but can help you to become a stronger, more organized operation. You have completed the 7th module of this course to develop a food safety program on your farm. There are some important steps you should complete before pursuing your GAP audit. You will want to make sure you review the Preparing for GAP Certification fact sheet found on the Virginia Cooperative Extension website. There you will find more in-depth information on the topics we covered in this module, along with supporting resources and documents. At the end of the fact sheet, you will find a checklist that will help you implement the topics covered in this module. Completing it will help you prepare for the requirements of a GAP audit. Once you've completed these steps, you should be ready to begin preparing for your GAP audit.